action. It's take 2 on a spirulina bread test. And I was trying to get it to be a little bit less green, which I think I did accomplish that. The last one was really green. This one I added some beet juice and carob powder and made it with brown teff. So I tried to give it a little bit more of a brown instead of green, which became pretty
So
close.
what's in this bread?
So it's made with spirulina. Obviously all the normal ancient grains we use for simple needs: millet, sorghum, buckwheat, teff, quinoa. And we're experimenting with Royal Spirulina. And I added some beet juice powder to try to offset some of the color and flavor. We're working with a little bit of, I also added a little bit of cassava flour to make it softer and lighter, and a little bit of organic gluten-free purity protocol oats, so that we could give that a try as well. So kind of trying a bunch of things all at once. But ultimately I'm trying to make a bread that's higher in protein. Trying to get to 6 grams of protein per slice. Look at this, look at that crumb, it's amazing.
Well, explain why is the crumb amazing.
Well, it's fine, so it's not open, it's kind of a smaller crumb cell structure, and that basically means that we are trapping the air pockets very efficiently. The spirulina is probably helping with that some, because it kind of acts like an egg in the product, and that it's a bit coagulating and mucilaginous. So it adds a bit of elasticity to the crumb, ultimately.
So who would this bread be for, ideally? And maybe can you break down why the bread is different than what you find in the store?
Well, our normal simple needs, the standard recipe is obviously very different, because it's made from ancient grains that are full of antioxidants and all kinds of nutrients. They're not separated from their fiber, so they're whole grains as well, which gives you a really great carb to fiber ratio, which slows down the absorption of your carbs and makes them much healthier for people who are struggling with diabetes or heart disease or obesity. Anybody that's seeking a healthier way of eating should definitely cut out any processed carbohydrates. So most bread is made with very processed flours that have a carb to fiber ratio up to even like 28 to 1. 28 grams of carbs to 1 gram of fiber. That is like really a dangerous place to be with your food, because it's like instantaneous uptake of carbohydrates in your bloodstream, which spikes insulin and creates insulin resistance and has a whole cascade of negative health effects. Our product is 5 to 1 carb to fiber, so a much higher ratio of fiber to carbs. And what that does is slows down the uptake of carbohydrates into your bloodstream and gives your body that kind of slow release of energy that we were designed for. So there's been studies done that show that just processed carbohydrates like high fructose corn syrup, for example, just taking 2 20-ounce soda pops a week has an impact of increasing your rate of heart disease and diabetes by over 20%. That's huge. And the exact opposite was true with the same amount of total carbohydrates eaten in whole grains. Another study showed that it had a reductive effect on your chances of heart disease and diabetes of 20%. So going the complete opposite direction, adding health and vitality instead of sickness.
So for someone who says, no bread for me, right? Athletes and the typical customer who's not educated on the bread could safely consume this bread, and what would you say is a good amount of bread to consume per day?
Well, for me, I eat quite a bit of this bread. It's really kind of a staple in my diet. I eat it every meal. And it's not going to give you weight gain or issues with blood sugar because of that slow release mechanism in the high fiber, whole grain nature of the flours that we use in Simple Needs. But there's actually an additional element that makes it even better. And that is that our products are not fast risen with dry active or commercial yeast. They are risen through a true sourdough process, which takes significantly longer. And that further breaks down the carbohydrates so that it slows the glycemic index of the food, in addition to the fact that they're already whole grain. So those two things combined really gives you a food that is never harmful.
How did you come about figuring all of this out?
Well, actually, I was first introduced to sourdough by a good friend of mine, Barbara O'Neill, through her daughter, who I know here in the States. And so I began we were looking for a gluten-free solution for our sons, Shiloh. And after having met Emma and Barbara O'Neill, I really wanted to find something that was not just gluten-free, but also sourdough. So we actually used Barbara's own starter in our initial research and development, and ended up loving it so much that we have it here in the plant now, scaled up, of course, but it's still her original microbes that she gave us. So she gave us a sample of her starter.
And do you know how she came about this recipe, the starter?
Well, not so much the recipe, but the starter definitely. The culture she was given, I don't know, she told me 35, 40 years ago, a long time ago, by a neighbor of hers that had gotten it from her grandmother from Germany or Russia, Eastern Europe basically. And so they estimate that it's been basically a family heirloom since the late 1800s.
Beautiful. Well, you're doing a good deed for many people. And I know I enjoyed this bread tremendously.
These are